Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fallout 76 for another round of legendary crafting. Today we're going to craft up some alien disintegrators and see if we can get something good. A while back when this weapon was still just on the PTS, we did a little test round of these and came up with a couple of good ones. But now that I've got it in my live game, I want to try and get something that I can keep. So we'll give that a shot today. I've got a couple of legendary ones already that are pretty terrible. We'll re-roll those. I've got a bunch that are not legendary at all. We'll roll on them and see how we do. Remember, if you like videos like this and you want to see more, do go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. There's always more to come. Now let's get into it. All right, we've got 14 of these to try. Let's see how we do. We'll start with the couple that I have that are already legendary. I've got a suppressors with faster fire rate, but suppressors is terrible. So let's go ahead and try to improve it. Well, I'm not sure we did. We've got the Gourmand's effect with 25% damage while aiming and 50 damage resistance while aiming. The Gourmand's effect, at best, is only giving us a 24% damage boost, so that's not all that helpful. Damage while aiming and resistance while aiming are also particularly useless on this weapon, which really only works well in VATS. So sadly, not much of an improvement there. Maybe we'll go back to it later. Let's try another one. All right, that's maybe a little bit better. Now we've got quad. We replenish AP with each kill, and our hits have a chance to generate a stealth field, which is kind of a cool effect for this weapon. Unfortunately, there's nothing on here that's going to give it a damage buff, which it kind of needs, but it's still pretty cool. We're not going to have to reload it very often, which is great. Replenishing AP will help with our VATS AP usage, and having a chance to generate a stealth field is just kind of cool for a weapon like this. I don't really think it's going to have much of a functional impact because my character is already super stealthy. But it is still kind of neat. Let's see what else we can do. All right, now we've got a bloodied. Bloodied with VATS critical hits doing 50% more damage and 15% faster reload. So I'd love to see faster fire rate more than anything on this. But VATS critical hits doing more damage and faster reload is going to help us out. Bloodied is going to give us the most damage possible, so that's excellent. So not a bad roll here. Not the one I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for bloodied fire rate or vampire's fire rate, but this one's pretty darn good. Let's try again. Ew, stalkers. They didn't just get rid of that. I don't think I've seen stalkers for a while. Oh, I forgot how much I hate stalkers. So, stalker's effect, if you're not in combat, you basically double your VATS accuracy at 50% more AP cost. That's kind of a nice thing in theory, but in practice, it just doesn't work very well. Basically, you've got to be totally hidden, and then you get really good VATS accuracy, but if you're running a low health build with unyielding armor, you've already got really good VATS accuracy, so you're not really getting anything out of that. VATS critical hits doing more damage is fine, but without a good primary effect, it's not going to help much. Extra agility will give us a little more AP and a little more sneakiness, but again, just not a good combo. Next up, we're gonna get a Juggernaut. Again, replenishing AP with each kill and 250 damage resistance while reloading. The Juggernaut's effect, if you're going for a full health build, can be useful. If you just absolutely don't want to be bloodied and you don't really have anything else good. Unfortunately, the Juggernaut's effect only gives you a 25% damage buff, so that's not all that useful. Replenishing AP with each kill is great for VATS. Damage resistance while reloading is fine. If there's ever a time you want that, it's when you're reloading. Unfortunately, again, no great primary effect, so no big winner on this one. Next up, we've got Hunters. Extra damage to animals. VATS critical hits do more damage and faster movement speed while aiming. Hunters is one of my least favorite effects. I'm simply not going to carry around an extra weapon just to do better damage to animals. Technically, it applies to the Scorch Beast Queen, unless they've changed that and I'm unaware. But there's so many better weapons that you would use for that that's just not very useful. Again, our VATS critical hits are doing more damage. Doesn't hurt, but nothing special. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not nothing special. It's a good effect if you've got it combined with another good effect. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have that. Faster movement speed while aiming is fairly useless unless you're a lower level player who doesn't have the speed demon mutation yet. If you've got that, you've basically maxed out your movement speed, so there's really nothing to gain from that. Sadly, another dud. Okay, here we go. Vampires is good. Vampires with VATS critical hits doing more damage, and our hits have a chance to generate a stealth field. So here's a better combination where VATS critical hits doing more damage is more useful. The Vampire's effect is going to keep our health full, which is great. Doesn't give us extra damage, though. If our VATS criticals do more damage, then at least we get some kind of damage buff there in addition to the health regeneration. So that's a good combo. Not an amazing combo, but a good combo. Hits have a chance to generate a stealth field. Again, probably not all that useful in practice, but it's a cool effect when you're running around with an alien weapon like this that's already kind of stealthy by default. So I like that. Can we do better? We've still got a few we can go through. And now we've got Furious with limb damage and damage resistance while aiming. The Furious effect is not a bad effect to have on this weapon. It's a fairly low damage dealing weapon, so you're going to put multiple hits on your target. So there will be plenty of situations where you can make the most out of Furious, which is good. Unfortunately, the limb damage effect is not one of my favorites, and damage resistance while aiming doesn't really matter because I'm going to be using this in VATS. So sadly, not a horrible roll, but not a good one for me. And what do we have next? We've got an Assassins with damage while aiming, and it breaks 50% slower. So here's another one that, not one of my favorite effects. These situational damage effects, some of them can be useful, especially if you're maybe a mid-level character where you don't have all your perks yet, you don't have your perfect build. Maybe carrying a couple of weapons that do different things can be useful for you. For a higher level character like mine, it's not really doing a whole lot, and extra damage to humans is not all that useful to begin with. Humans are really squishy in Fallout 76, so I don't really need extra damage to humans. Maybe if I'm doing PvP, that's interesting, but the alien disintegrator is probably not the weapon you're going to do PvP with. Maybe I'm wrong, though. 25% damage while aiming. Totally useless on a weapon like this. Try aiming this thing down sights. It just doesn't work well. This is really a weapon that is very well designed for VATS and not very well designed for anything else. Breaking 50% slower is certainly a nice thing to have. I'm a fan of that. I don't like fixing things, so breaking slower is always a good one in my book. Unfortunately, the rest of it leaves quite a bit to be desired. And now we've got, another Stalkers with VATS critical shots doing more damage and extra agility. Is this the same as the other one we got? They are identical. They are the same weapon. Oh, wow. Okay, well, considering that I was disappointed with the first one, I can assure you that I'm equally disappointed with the second one. Let's try again. All right, Junkies is a little better. Not for me. I don't run a Junkies build, but there are plenty of people who do, and that's a good effect. Bashing damage increased by 50%. Well, that totally sucks on this weapon. Extra agility will help us be sneaky, give us a little more AP and VATS, but that's about it. Bashing damage, sadly, is just plain useless. It is a terrible effect unless you have a shredding minigun. I know. Your shredding minigun is good, but it's absolutely useless on everything else. And in my opinion, on everything but the shredding minigun, it should be changed to bashing speed. I think that would be awesome for those daily ops where you've got to gun bash to kill the enemy. But other than that, it's really a totally useless effect. Junkies is pretty good, 50% damage increase if you've got 5 addictions. And then you can pick good ones where you can take more chems and boost up your damage that way. So that can be good, but sadly, not a great one for me. We've got 3 left. And let's see here. And I've still got some legendary modules, so maybe we'll try and re-roll some of those terrible ones. Medics, again with bashing damage. and the hits have a chance to generate a stealth field. So with medics, VATS criticals will heal you and your group. That's a nice thing to have, but it's not as good as vampires, which I already picked up. Bashing damage is worthless. The stealth field, cool effect, but again, not really very useful. So sadly, this one is junk. Let's see, we've got 2 left. And we get another good one. Troubleshooters with damage while aiming, and VATS critical meter fills faster. The RNG does not love me today. No, it does not. It loved me last week, not so much this week. So troubleshooters, as far as the situational damage effects go, this is one of the better ones to have. There are lots of scenarios in the game where you know the type of enemy you're going to be facing. Robots are common. Whether you are clearing a nuke silo, whether you're running encrypted or you're doing AWOL armaments, you know when you're going to encounter a lot of robots. So this effect isn't bad because you know you're going to be using it often. So that's not bad. 25% damage while aiming, again, useless on this weapon. You're just not going to aim it down sights. If you have found a way to use this weapon with free aim and you can do it comfortably and you enjoy it, then good for you. I can't do that. There's really no sight on it, so it doesn't really work very well. And it's not a hit scan weapon, so that really doesn't work very well. Your VATS critical meter filling faster is beneficial here, so if you wanted something just for robots that helps you get some more VATS criticals, that's good, but not really a useful second star there. All right, we've got one more, I think. Yep, one more plain one, and then we'll try and re-roll some of the garbage. Another Stalkers? Are you kidding me right now? Wow. This one is totally worthless. So the Stalkers effect is totally worthless. The last shot effect is basically worthless. The last round in the magazine has a 25% chance to deal double damage. That sounds great on paper, but the reality is you're never going to fire that last shot because you're tactically reloading as you're running around. So shooting it is going to be very rare. And even when you do, it's only a 25% chance to double your damage, so who cares? Damage resistance while aiming, again, you're never going to free aim this thing, so that's totally worthless. For all intents and purposes, we just took a non-legendary alien disintegrator and made another non-legendary alien disintegrator, except this one's worth 40 script. That's basically the difference. All right, let's try and re-roll some of these and see if we can improve. I've got 27 modules left. Okay, that's a little better. Now we've got anti-armor with VATS hit chance and agility. The anti-armor effect is definitely useful, especially on a weapon like this that doesn't do super high damage to begin with, so that'll help us penetrate much more of our enemy's defenses. Increased VATS hit chance is going to help us hit weak points where we can deal bonus damage like headshots or bellies on Deathclaws. That's really, really important and very, very useful. Extra agility will help us be a tiny bit sneakier and give us a little more AP. So that's not bad, and considering what we were coming from, it's definitely an improvement. Now, we've got 2 more Stalkers alien disintegrators we can re-roll because Stalkers is worthless. Now we've got mutants with VATS critical hits doing more damage and a chance to generate a stealth field. Mutants isn't bad, but it's not great. And it's not great for me because I'm a higher level character, so I need something that does more damage than this. Mutants gives you 5% damage for each mutation, which isn't bad, but it's not really going to stack up to some of the better effects out there. VATS critical hits doing more damage is fine and good. Hits with a stealth field, also cool. Not useful, but cool. Let's try our other Stalkers. Where did you go? There you are. We're going to re-roll on you. Instigating. Ugh. Yuck. So we went from one that was pretty much useless to another one that's pretty much useless. The instigating effect. There was a time, my friends, when the instigating effect was good. Not just good, it was great. You would double your damage if the target was full health, so if you got a sneak critical in there and a headshot, you could stack up some damage on that first shot. But now, the way it was nerfed, you basically double the base damage of the weapon, which is really not very significant, and certainly not good enough to justify carrying the weapon around. We've already discussed last shot. That is a giant disappointment. Faster movement speed while aiming is totally useless, so I guess if our other one was a non-legendary worth 40 script, this one is a very slightly legendary worth 40 script. Let's kill it and re-roll it. Troubleshooters again, replenishing AP with each kill and damage resistance while reloading. So we've talked about all of those effects. Troubleshooters isn't horrible, but the rest of it is kind of meh. We've got enough modules for, is that 2 more? Is my math right? Yes, that's 2 more. All right, let's do the gourmands. Okay, all right, this one's kind of interesting. Executioners with VATS hit chance, and it breaks 50% slower. So the Executioner's effect is not a lot of people's favorite, and I think that's because they're used to weapons that do a ton of damage. On a weapon like this that does a lower amount of damage, you're going to see a little more mileage out of the Executioner's effect because you're going to be putting more shots on your target. So that actually can be really helpful for this. 50% VATS hit chance. Hey, I always like that one. We'll get our weak points. We'll get our damage bonuses that way. It breaks 50% slower. That makes me a happy camper because I don't like fixing things. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's get rid of the assassins. This will be the last one. Another suppressors. Yuck. Suppressors with the last shot effect, and our VATS critical meter fills 15% faster. Suppressors alien disintegrator. Yeah. The suppressors effect, it does what it says on the box. It reduces the target's damage output by 25% for 5 seconds. That's not a bad thing to have. In concept, it could be very useful. There just aren't very many enemies in Fallout 76 that are dealing that much damage to the players where that's particularly useful. Last shot effect, again, totally useless. VATS critical meter fills 15% faster isn't a bad thing to have, but with the rest of it, it's just not that useful. So I think I'd like to do one other thing before we wrap this video up. We are going to go automatic. Okay, yeah, we're going to go automatic because I'm a stealth commando. I just want to take this thing for a quick spin and see if my thinking is right. Is this going to be good? All right, we're not going to do anything crazy here, but we're going to just clear Huntersville real quick. And let's just see how useful this Executioner's effect can be. All right, well, in stealth, the weapon's pretty good to begin with. How about a critical? All right, so if we're getting headshots, it's actually not all that useful on super mutants. Maybe if we do some torso shots. So if you're someone who is maybe not maxed out on, or not using the proper VATS effects, you're not doing the headshots, then maybe that's useful for you, but let's just see how else we do here. So there's that free aim, not amazing. And if we're right on the target, it's not that bad, but let's try and kill something tougher with it. We're going to go for this Scorch Beast. Is that all of them? I think it is. Scorched are cleared out. Now we've got to get this guy. See, it's not very effective pre-aiming, but quite effective against the Scorch Beast. Get those headshots in there, get those sneak shots, and then the Executioner's effect kicks in, and it's quite good. All right, and that's going to do it for this one, folks. Thank you for indulging me while I took that one for a little test drive. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, follow me on Twitter, all the things you probably already know you're supposed to do. I thank you again, and I hope I see you all next time.